So as this video plays in the background, some of you might be going, "What? Wait a second, Renfail. I thought you only did like gaming and Star Trek and Star Wars and tabletop and nerd stuff. Why are we talking about ranching and what is going on in this video? Who's this fellow?" Uh, yeah, so if you're new here, you might not know who this is. If you've been around my channel for a while, this is my younger brother, Joey. He and I have worked in game dev together for over a decade now. We've founded two studios, Stormhaven Studios and Wandering Hermits Studios. We've worked on the MMORPG, the tabletop game, the point and click game, the fantasy series. And aside from all of that, I've always had my channel and other things that I've worked on, and him and his wife have always had their cattle ranch, their cow-calf operation in southeast Missouri. Now they've been doing very well for themselves over the past few years, to the point where in 2024 they have expanded their operations by multifold. This is a multi-million dollar operation, which is going to more than double what they've already been doing for the past few years. And this is the first official video that went up on their YouTube channel, I think the day before yesterday, which is a tour of the new ranch facilities. Now, the reason I'm going to mention this and the reason you should be aware of this project and everything else is because I'm handling all of the social media for them. I went up and for 3 weeks shot footage. This is what I did for 3 weeks: was ran around with the GoPro, covered the move, covered. We got a bunch of interviews coming out. There's a bunch of drone footage. We got a bunch of photography that we'll be loading up on their social media channels. We spun up all the social media channels. So on top of the YouTube, there's also a TikTok and Instagram and the Facebook page. We're also going to be spinning up a Twitch channel where they would be live streaming some of their operations. And of course, they've got a website that's in the works as well. This is something where they've already been doing very well for, like I said, the past few years. They've got quite a few cows and they are expanding the operation. And part of the expansion is moving to a digital space and starting to do international, at least national and international marketing, starting with national and then hopefully international as well, with all of their outreach and website and social media and everything else. And since that's where my background is primarily, I don't work in that field anymore, but I'm more than happy to help my brother and my sister-in-law and my niece and nephew because they're great people and this is their life. And I grew up in this industry. Actually, when I was a kid, it was a dairy farm. So my dad had a dairy farm. I was homeschooled for a few years and it sucked because I literally would wake up and do chores and do homework and then go back and do chores. And at the same time, my dad had a ceramic tile and natural stone company as a second generation craftsman. So I became a third generation craftsman and I spent the first 16 years of my life in Missouri, which is where this ranch is located in southeast Missouri. Working on a dairy farm, living on a dairy farm. And I left that life behind many, many years ago. But I do go back and visit. Chris and I have gone up there quite a few times. In a perfect world, we like to go up there once a year for a few months. But ever since we bought the homestead, we have been hunkered down building everything here. And this is the first chance I'd had to go up in a while. So we went up. It was a great time, a great 3 weeks. We did a ton of stuff. The video that's showing in the background is the tour of the new ranch, but there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. They're all very active in the local 4-H community, the local rodeo communities. The kids have won tons of buckles. My brother does team roping. We did I think 3 or 4 rodeos while I was there. We've got barrel riding, pole racing, bull riding, mutton busting, team roping, all sorts of other stuff. And then they have the cow calf operation. They have horses, they have ducks, geese, pigs, sheep, you name it. A really cool sawmill that he just bought a couple years ago and built a whole bunch of cool stuff like the chicken coops, and you'll see more. This video right now is touring the new facility. So the big thing here, and this is kind of what I want to get you guys up to speed on, is that what they've been doing up to this point has been largely using lease ground and having cows out in the fields. And this operation, particularly where we're getting ready to go into now, this is the new where you'll be working the cows. Again, go over and watch the full tour video because it's a really cool overview of what's going on, and he talks a lot about what they're going to be doing here. But essentially, they're going to be able to run, instead of only running cows in the field, these facilities will allow them to put several hundred cows directly here, which allows them to add on significantly to their existing operation, and provide beef to all of you out there who consume beef, which is one of the reasons I want to talk about this here today in this video, and one of the reasons why you should be following over there if you're even remotely interested in any of this. If you're a vegetarian, that's okay. But if you're not, if you're a meat consumer, or if you're just someone who loves knowing how your food gets, like the farm to table craft, how that works. My sister-in-law has a background in the agricultural sciences and with everything they're doing with the ranching. So she handles a lot of the science stuff that goes on, and in terms of my brother and her operating. She also has vet training and worked at the vet clinic for many years. And so they do very much everything is about first, we have the soil. How do we get the soil where it needs to be to produce the right forage for the cattle? And then how do we finish them off with the right, types of grain mixtures and everything else? The process of weaning cows and calves, the process of doctoring calves, the process of producing the meat that is for consumption in an open range and barn environment as opposed to commercially produced meat. This is much, much different. So if you're even remotely interested in all that, you're going to want to follow along at their channels because they're doing tons of interviews, and tons of just in your face information about everything they're doing. Plus, the kids are showing things off like their ducks and the chickens, and we've got just all sorts of great videos coming out. Um, on top of which, they've already been doing direct to sale um, butchering for people who want to in their local area, meaning that if you want to go get a half of a cow or a full cow and you want to stock your freezer and you don't want to buy it from the supermarket, you'd rather buy it directly from a producer who you know and can trust. They've already been doing that for a few years. They're going to be expanding that market significantly, and it's all going to be done through their website, through their social media, and everything else. So if you are a meat consumer and you're even remotely interested in that aspect of it, you're going to want to follow along as well. Now, this is obviously not my day job. My day job is here on my channel doing video gaming and streaming and all the things I do here. But this is something that I am going to be working on, sort of, it's like a hobby project for me, side gig, getting this going for them and working with them to get all their social media in place and get all the marketing going and just expand. The new expansion is not just about the land and the facilities, it's also about everything else they're doing with building their social channels for the first time and everything else. So I was up there helping with all the videography, photography, getting all the footage we need. And from here on out, we'll be publishing tons of content around their stuff. So there's going to be a link down in the description below to go over to their YouTube channel. You're going to want to follow along there. You're also going to want to follow along all their social medias. There's, all this stuff being listed here, but there'll be links and everything else. So make sure to check that out. That's what I was up there working on the past few months. And I'm going to go back to that really quick. So we have that on screen, and I have an eyelash in my eye. I will be, Chris and I will both be going up there and helping them with these operations and growing everything over the coming years. So you'll definitely be able to expect to see more of this showing up in other places, probably on our Marginal Boundaries website, which is where we used to do our travel blogging and everything else, but also all the stuff that we're producing directly for Smiling Bovine Ranch. So make sure to follow them, and I'll be talking about this from time to time, so just get used to it because this is something that I want to help them grow, and I believe in. It's my brother. He's done a lot of cool stuff with me over the years with the game development stuff. It's my chance to do something with him that's not related to game dev, and so I'm really excited to be doing this with him and seeing them get the just rewards that they deserve because they have been working. There's a introduction video on this YouTube channel actually. I want to show this really quick because some people talk about, they see someone running a big operation like this and they're like, oh, it's just luck. And it's like, no, 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 no. Where's the intro video here? I'm going to open this up. So this is their intro video. And what I want to say here is that's the new place. But there's a section here where they started off. I'm waiting for it to show up. They called it the Love Shack. This thing's it's a 12-foot by 20-foot shack in the middle of a cow field, right? It doesn't have a kitchen in it. All it has is a little shower stall, like a bed area, and that's really it. And they lived in this. They started in this years ago and worked their way up from this little shack in the middle of a field to where they are now with this brand new operation that they are now working on. So um, they deserve all the rewards they're getting for their hard work, and I'm just excited to see it happening for them. So that's what I was working on the past few weeks. I'm going to be working on this for the foreseeable future. So follow all their social media channels if you want to get up to date with all that stuff. And I will talk about it periodically here on my channel. So I'll shut up rambling now. We're 10 minutes in. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.